Yes. I'm Jasmine Lopez, the head of Capacity Development Commission, and I will be your host today. And as I already mentioned, we are having today our third episode with the regional representatives. The IFSA Officials Roundtable Series provides a space where IFSA members can learn directly from the current team and get inspiration to apply for a position during the upcoming election process for the IFSA Officials Team for the 2022-2023 term. So at the end of this episode, you will know more about the requirements to apply to be the next regional representatives, what to include in your application, and you will get a better understanding of the main task that the position demands, as well as the estimated time dedicated to cover the task. So we can start with this third episode dedicated to the regional representatives. So our agenda for today is include a little introduction and the official presentation, including the main task, the additional task, the required skills, ongoing projects, and time for the position. At the end, we're having a session for questions and answers and a few closing remarks. So let's start with this. I don't know if Shimon is already here. No. Okay. So let's introduce to our ours.
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm Steve, one of the regional representatives for Latin America. And yeah, I wasn't supposed to do this part, but things happened and yeah, we're basically like, I don't know. Yeah, we're somewhat of the Avengers ourselves, I would say. We don't have like commissions or anything like that. We are all in the same position. So we have our Captain America, who is, of course, our membership counselor, Shimon, who is always in our hearts. But to get to know everyone more specifically, let's go to the next one, please. Okay, so for Asia Pacific, we have here Sofia from the Philippines, and the other RR would be Ali. Pretty sure most of you know Ali. He is not here with us either, but yeah, both of them are carrying Asia Pacific to success. In the case of Latin America, we have me and Benjamin over here, who is at work. The Northern Africa, we have Japheth and Eugene. For Northern America, Elizabeth, we only have one RR so far. The idea is to have two for all of the regions. And if we go over to the northern part of Europe, we have Johanna and Carl. For Southern Africa, we have Doctor, and for Southern Europe, we have Sarah and Bora, who is here with us as well. So this is the team of 2021-2022. And yeah, we are the people who is in charge of managing and looking the best for the regions. So what is one of our main tasks, or what do we do? So we're going to start first with a brief summary of what it's being an RR. So if you apply for this position, you already become a Giga chat, because you're basically aware of everything that is happening in IFSA, not in detail, but you need to know what's going on in different parts, like what opportunities are coming, which events, because you need to share all of this with your region, and use the main communication channels, which depends on the region. But yeah, you also need to get informed on like what are these opportunities about? Are they good for your region? Do you have to share them? You also need to like and make memes. That is going to be one of the requirements of this department. You lead your region to success and you lead them to growth. And also you copy your membership counselor in emails so that he is also aware of what's going on. So yeah, that's basically like a brief summary, but let's go ahead and get a little deeper into the main tasks. The most important thing as a regional representative is to know your region. You need to know how they work. what are they going to be interested about, what are their issues if they have like a special situation. And the reason of this is because you're going to be working with them for a whole year. Yes, you have a team of regional representatives who you also work with, but your main audience is going to be the members of the LC, of the LCs. And also the reason I say this is because you are the first contact point. When people have questions, when people have doubts about something, 99% of the time they're going to reach out to you, and you need to be prepared to address their problems and to help them find solutions. You also need to reach and reactivate inactive LCs. Basically, you will have this information. You will know which LCs are inactive and which are not. And this reach and try to reactivate part is, I would say, a little bit difficult at the beginning because you need to like find the best way to get in contact with them. Um, but still, that's a task that we need to fulfill. You also have to look for potential new LCs. You need to start like researching, see if there's like a potential forestry faculty or university that is not part of IFSA and try to reach out to them. Now after this term, we're going to have documents for like potential new LCs and stuff like that. So it's much easier to introduce IFSA and to kind of explain what the association is about. And you also need to help them with their application process. So you always have to include like between your expectations, at least one new LC. So yeah, and also try to motivate them. Can you go back to the previous one, please? Thank you. And try to motivate them to get involved regionally and internationally. I can give the example of Nicolas here, president of the newest Chile LC, who has been really active. So yeah, and you also need to update the LC's information on a database that the membership department has. So if an LC changes their logo, if they change their name, you need to make sure that all the information is updated, because there's a whole another process internally, but yeah, it's important to update the information. Next one, please. You also need to prepare and host coffee hours. I'm pretty sure everyone knows coffee hours, monthly meeting where everyone gets together, we share information, opportunities, events, and have a good time with the members of our region. As you can see in the picture in the top right, that's a coffee hour from Latin America. And we have Bora over there who joined, even though he didn't understand anything, but yeah, he was there with us. You also need to support the organizing committee for the regional meeting. You need to provide them support if they have questions, if they need help with anything. And a very important task is also to attend the monthly membership department meetings. As you can see in the bottom right, that was our very first membership meeting last year. So the importance of attending these meetings is first that you are getting all the information on what we need to share and what we need to be working on during the next month, couple of months. And also so that you can share your own projects or your own ideas and try to get feedback, or maybe you provide an idea that is also good for other regions so everyone can use it as an example. So yeah, make sure to attend membership department meetings. Next one, please. Okay. You also need to coordinate activities in the region. As I said previously, you need to know your region, and knowing them is going to allow you to coordinate or create activities that are going to benefit them. I can give the example of Latin America, where we created an event where we explained what is and how IFSA works, and we explain all the basic details so that people can be more aware of how the association works and the importance of being part of important processes and decision making. And also the case of Asia Pacific, where they gave this Discord one-on-one workshop. And yeah, don't worry about the delay, it's okay. So yeah, coordinated activities is also an important part. You need to keep your region active. And if you create activities that benefit them, then you're going to accomplish this goal. You need to you need to manage the region's social media. So talking about like the Facebook and the Instagram accounts, and try to maintain them active, posting constantly, making dynamics so that people can get involved. And you also, one of the most important things, you need to share IFSA news and opportunities. So that's why I was saying earlier that you need to be informed. It's not only sharing, it's not like copy pasting some information that we got. Is to understand this opportunity or this event that is upcoming so that you can give a little bit more detail. And yeah, I think we can continue to the next one, please. And now I give the floor over to Joanna with the additional tasks.
Thank you. Yeah, so Steve was now talking about the main tasks that we have to do as RRs, so the things that we definitely have to fulfill. But of course, there are always additional things that would be great if you can manage to organize them, that also help your region to stay active, to get connected with other regions. And yeah, here as a first example, we have these interregional calls. I'm sure probably most of you have already joined one of those, which is a project where two or more regions meet each other and we share some information about our regions, about forestry in our regions, maybe some cultural or food stuff. And we normally have a lot of breakout rooms where you can just talk to others and get to know them, and some quizzes. So there's really no boundary to your ideas. And yeah, as you can see on the pictures, on the left, you have the interregional call from Asia Pacific and Latin America, which was in March. And on the right, we have the interregional call from Northern Europe and Southern Europe, which we did just before Christmas. So it was kind of a bit Christmas themed, as you can probably see in the picture. So it's always a lot of fun. And but of course it's important for you to come up with this idea and get in contact with the RRs from the other regions to set up these events. Next slide, please. Yeah, in addition to the interregional calls, of course, you can always come up with other activities, either in your own region or with other regions together. I mean, there's really no limit in activities that you can do. For example, like board game evenings on Discord, movie evenings, whatever comes to your mind. It's just to keep your region somehow active and connected, and give them something to network maybe. And next point, as Steve already mentioned, there are always a lot of opportunities around, and not only from IFSA organized, but also from other organizations that we are partnering with, maybe some universities that offer some open course PhD positions. So your task, or what is great, is if you can stay informed about other opportunities. Also, if IFSA is offering something, that you contact the responsible persons to get some more information, so you can explain your region and the members of your LCs why it might be interesting or important for them to join any kind of events. And and here, you basically have all the internet and social media open to find opportunities. We have the various IFSA social media and the website. There are various Facebook pages, the websites of the organizations or universities. There's LinkedIn. There's so much stuff going on. But of course, it helps the region if you kind of get some ideas and some news that you can share. And then yeah, what we're trying to do now as well is that you look for new RRs and the OC for next term, because sometimes you also have to convince people to run SRR or SOC, because people are maybe sometimes not that that sure if they can handle it or if they want to do it. So you can push them a little bit and talk to people that you think might be interested in running. Yeah, so that we get new RRs and a new organizing committee for next term. And the next slide, please. And then, of course, very important as well is that we often in the membership department have some projects that we want to accomplish. For example, the membership packages that we created this year, which is basically what also Steve already talked about, that we try to simplify or try to explain how IFSA works and how you can apply as maybe a new LC, or how you can be part of IFSA as a student. So there are always projects going on in the department, and SRR, yeah, we try to work together and to yeah, fulfill these projects that can really be everything. And yeah, as you can see in the meme, we always want our MC to be proud of us. So we try our best to yeah, make our job as best as possible. Okay, and I think I'm handing over now to Bora.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Okay, time for the position. That's also another important stuff as Steve's topic and Joanna's topic, because this doesn't matter. Technically, we are working voluntarily, but this is very kind of work and job. So you have the time for this. You have the time for checking. You have the time for get contact with your partner, with your MC, and also with your another regions and rest of the IFSA world. So we can say for this 8 hours per week, it's kind of like that, but depends on what you are doing and what's your agenda or something. So as we said, can change, depends on projects and meetings. So for example, I was thinking about before interim, it will be less, but after interim, it be for me, it's get more. So like, for example, like that. So also like 1 or 2 hours per week to check your mails. This is very important because your emails and your even like personal accounts is kind of getting a few messages from IFSA world. So that's very important. So for example, we had every week messages from our MC for kind of updating or something. That's also very important. So as I mentioned before, also you have to time, you should have time for update your partner and console, as I said before. So time is really very complementary stuff in this job as like other jobs. Yeah. So required skills, you guys see a few titles there, and they're all of them is like complementing each other. So if we start with first one, communication skills. So this is very important because our position is kind of bridge position to it's bridge between IFSA and members, because you're really main person. Yeah, as Steve said, not in detail, but really we are kind of just reach out to us for some of topic, so some of regions topic. So you should have really good communication skills. So I mean, if I definition more, so for example, yesterday I had to talk with 7 people for certain stuff. So if some of them had like weak communication, I think yeah, they can do it, but they can improve. So it was like that. Time management, as we mentioned before, time management is very important, but it's, I mean, so you should separate your time in a week, if you ask me, because for example, we were doing our agenda and we were following our agendas for something. So yeah, you should calculate your time and you have to manage your times, because also you have your personal life, you have family, you have school, you have maybe internship. So if you see them in your agenda, you can follow them easily. If you ask me this kind of advice from me, because I was too last time person. So I was waiting for to do something. Then last 1 hour, I was like, okay, do it. But I fix it with IFSA. It's good effect on me. So dedication, actually, this is not just for IFSA. Dedication is like kind of street hero in this position, because if you ask me, it shouldn't be temporary. It should be like in sustainability. So being dedicated to your task, the work, that means that you have priority and work. So it's then also you can force yourself to do your job and your work. For this, dedication is very important, because sometimes you have to give from yourself, from your time, from your stuff. That's very important stuff. Be friendly. I don't want to explain this because this is really short. Just be friendly. I don't want to give anymore. Be friendly, be kind. Don't bully people, because people doesn't understand sometimes, because we get easily because we are in, but they are not in. So be patient and just kind and friendly. That's also good. And done laughing at me, Steve. And, and collaboration skills. Guys, for example, in a week, we got the information from Joanna, from Steve, other regions, other officials, with subcommissions, with all of them. So you can have a good project and you can have good ideas. So you should share with them. So that's mean kind of, you should have a good collaboration skills. So like sharing your ideas, giving advices, and implement your ideas or something. Be organized. As I said before, all of the titles complementing each other, because for example, like be organized and skill, even the work is voluntarily, you should think you're like working professionally, and it is already. So like an ability to be organized person will give you opportunity to make and implement decision in a short time. So I mean, if organized, yeah, you will see what happened and what's going on there, and you can also have a feedback after what you did. So synergy, that's very like key title, because we are two, not just one person. So you're getting contact. That's very important, because you have to have updates from your partner sometimes, because you're working together. That's very important. So like being constructive approach and has a good harmony with your partner, that's the best, because it's like you can motivate yourself better, you can get involved better, because you're working with some of people with you. That's also very important. So if you have harmony with your partner, it will be great. So I always give example for this. Sorry for the others, but this is my idea. Elif and Shimon is really my hero about that, because I was watching them, how they have this energy between them. So it was very cool for me. So creativity, this is, as you can see, collaboration and like kind of be organized. You should think different sometimes. So for example, you guys think memes are very easy, but actually not. Yes, exactly easy, but you think like, oh, like you think kind of different. You think also weird or something like theatrical stuff or something. And also creativity is very important for promotion skills, because you're making some of stuff for videos, like kind of even design or something for your region. This is also very important, and for projects, for everything, for yeah, as you imagine it. Promotion skills, guys, this is, for example, 2 days ago, a few faculty members brought to me in my country. They said we see a lot of IFSA stuff around. So what's that? So that's mean we make a good advertisement for IFSA, because a lot of people seeing what's going on there and what's IFSA or something. Promotion skills is very important. Actually, I was saying to all of them important, just important. Yes, writing skills. Let's make it own criticism stuff. I was weak about this, but I started to learn with IFSA, because yes, I can talk, I can vote, and I can do it, but writing is like getting confused. So writing is very important, because we use at the same time social media, and sometimes document, and making reports, and giving report to the people. Also, even during the meeting, you should write something, because kind of minute. Yeah. that's all as we put it there. So yeah, ongoing projects, we are on Sophia.
Okay, thank you, Bora. So for the ongoing project, so we listed all of the things that the RRs are currently doing within our regions, and also the projects that the membership department has been very, very busy with. So I hope that once we go through all of this, we can inspire you to be creative in like planning what you want to do within your region once you become RRs next term. So next slide, please. So for the first one, it's called LC Statistics. So I hope all of you know this, since us RRs have been bothering every LC representatives to answer the survey, because we all know how many LCs we have in IFSA since our establishment. But until now, we don't know how many individual members does IFSA have. And we don't even know what the gender ratio is, or how many activities are the LCs conducting each year. So all of this, like the results in the surveys, will be announced in IFSS in Chile this coming August. So I hope all of your LCs have already answered the survey. So for the next one, it's called Pen Pals. So basically, the premise of this idea came with like the traditional pen pals, where you write letters using snail mail. But since we're now in a very modern world, we're using different communication channels. So us RRs are basically the matchmakers. So as you can see in the picture, Shimon, our membership counselor, is with her pen pal, Gabriela, from Latin America. So next slide, please. The next one is the forestry faculties database. So what was Steve mentioned earlier is that one of the main tasks of RRs is scouting for potential LCs. So this database is basically our way of looking if this specific university in this country, does it have an LC? If not, okay, let's contact and talk with the faculty and organize an LC there. And it's also basically for networking for different and related sciences universities for opportunities for our IFSA members. So the next one is the regional council. So this is also a recent project that the membership department has created last interim, and it will happen. The first launch of the regional council will happen sometime in June. So this is more like a formal version of coffee hours. So this is where like all the serious stuff that happens in the regions are discussed. So only like the LC representatives and the RRs are present here. And the coffee hours will be more of a more informal and fun meetings once the regional council is launched. Next slide, please. Okay, LC Buddy. So this is also a recent project that was made during interim. So this is like an LC exchange program. So it lets LCs collaborate and share experiences with how their LC works and to their LC buddy. So it can be a room for collaborations, for cultural exchanges between LCs that doesn't happen in other IFSA activities that we conduct. So if your LC is interested to be part of this project, you can just tap any of your RRs and we will do the rest. So the next one is IFSA Mate. So this is for Latin America members to practice English and break the language barrier. So you guys know the Spanish school, right? So this is like a version of it, but more of like an English school that is for Latin America members. So this was established in 2020, and I think it will still continue even after Steve and Benjamin's term. So next slide, please. The next one is Tremendous Tree Tuesdays. So this is a project by IFSA Europe, and it's like an interactive Instagram content. When you check out their Instagram account, you will find every Tuesday various contents, games in their IG stories, and it basically focuses on sharing plants and animal species, IFSA, and other environmental facts. So the next one is Spotify playlists. So this is like a regional based playlist created by RRs and their LCs. So this is an ongoing project. So currently, IFSA Europe also has a Spotify playlist as well with Asia Pacific. So if you guys want to listen to them, we can send the Spotify link later in the chat box so you can listen to it. The next one, please. Okay, so the last one is the Facebook photo competition. So this is also a project by IFSA Europe. So basically, this is like just a competition of showing the different landscapes and forests and environment in your country, and then like members of the Facebook group will vote, and then the winner will be featured as the cover photo of the IFSA regional Facebook group. So as you can see in the photo, these are the recent winners in IFSA Northern Europe. So if you guys want to join the photo competition in IFSA Europe, you can just stand by and wait for updates from Johanna and Carl, and then you can join there. So next slide, please. Okay, so I now move like the mic or floor to Jazz.
Thank you, Sophia, and thank you to our dear RRs. It was a really great presentation, really great memes. As Elif said before, the membership department, something like that. So thank you, everyone. And I'm going to share my screen again. So we are now having time for questions. So you can go back to the Mentimeter and you can ask us something. The RRs will be happy to answer all your questions. Maybe you have questions about a specific project or something about the skills, the time, I don't know, anything. So you can also write in the chat box and on Zoom or open your mic. Okay, we have the first question. Is being an RR volunteer work? So who wants to answer this?
Let's do it together at the same time. Yes.
I mean, like, the point is you don't get any money from it, but you get a lot of other stuff out of being an RR. So of course it's not money, but you get all this experience, you meet so many great people. It's still rewarding even if it's not paid. So I would, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
really,
Yeah, and it's the same for all other IFSA official positions. So,
Yes. Okay, so thank you. If you have another question. Okay, so people is okay, first is Kyle.
Hello, everyone. So, hello to our amazing RRs. I actually have two questions. My first question is for you guys, what is the most fulfilling thing about being a regional representative? And the second one is, and what is the hardest thing about being in this position? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. So who wants to answer first?
Most fulfilling was the first one, right? Okay.
Yes.
I think I would say that probably working with people. You're working for a region and you're creating activities so that you can keep them active. You are helping them solve their problems. You are, I don't know, you're basically the person who is leading them. And yeah, I think that, at least for me, that would probably be the most fulfilling part. I don't know the rest.
I actually agree with Steve that the best part of being an RR and also like any other official is that you get to meet a lot of people, you get to work a lot with them, and also you learn a lot of things which improves your personal skills and other professional skills because we're all students and being a student you learn something different when you're in a classroom, and also you learn something that's also different when you're in a group of people who have like the share who like you share the same things about, and it's more like peer learning experience when you become an RR because you get to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, also I agree with that, Rita. So staying from backgrounds is very cool for me. Like you see a lot of stuff, and for example, just imagine it, some of people building something, then and also you are putting one stone. So I always say this. So this is so cool. Hardest stuff. Again, as you said, I totally agree. Working with people sometimes really get stressful, but yeah.
How about what's the hardest thing about being in this position?
Yeah,
You.
maybe. No, Kyle, no.
No.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree with the others that like fulfilling. It's really nice that you get to work with so many people. It's really nice to see that also LCs are becoming more active if you work with them. It's really nice to see that people kind of experience what IFSA is and how IFSA really also helps you and how it can make a lot of fun, and it's just right. But also like on the other side, it's sometimes really it's a lot you have to keep in mind. I mean, you've seen the projects that are going on, which is just basically on top of what we have to do as general tasks. So sometimes it's quite a lot to do your like main tasks, and then you also want to do some more activities. You want to continue these projects like the picture competition, or you want to organize interregional calls, and sometimes in some months it just adds up in the end. So I would say this is for me like the most difficult part. Yeah, that can get a lot, but then you also always have to remember that you have like your second RR of the region, so you can divide the tasks. You have the other RRs, and no one's going to blame you if it takes 2 days longer or you skip a month or something.
Thank you for that, guys.
Thank you. So, any other RR want to complement the answer? Or it's okay. No. Okay, we can continue with Dita.
Okay, thank you. Um, I'm so sorry before because I can to on cam because my connection is a little bit unstable. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Dita from IFSA Unhas. Hello everyone, nice to meet you. I want to ask about the survey who mentioned of Sophia. Um, that inform that the survey will be sent for every LC in the world, but sorry in advance because in my LC until now still yet receive the survey. So I want to make sure about this that you has been received all the survey for all the LC for to all every LC. I just want to ask that. Thank you.
Hi, Dita. We already sent the survey, I think 2 weeks ago, but I'm not sure since I'm not really like good in terms of the technicalities with Google, but a lot of LCs has already reached out to me that they have been encountering problems with Google, and I think the someone from Communications Commission can answer on behalf of that, since we already sent a few reminders also. But then again, I'll send the survey to you guys after this session.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you so much, Savia.
Thank you, Sophia, and thank you, Dita. Faiha, do you have a question?
Yes, Jasmine, thank you so much for the opportunity. So, hi everyone. My name is Faiha and I'm from IFSA CGM Indonesia. I apologize in advance because I couldn't turn on my camera, so maybe you couldn't see my face, but I would like to ask a question. Does being an RR requires to participate in every regional activities in advance? Like, does it count to the evaluation point? Because from what I've seen from your presentation, there are a lot of regional activities, and it's actually a lot of them are very interesting, but maybe we haven't fully participated in it, and it may affect our performance later on. So I would like to know about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Faiha. Who wants to answer?
Um, this is a tricky question, but I mean, for your application, let me just say it this way. When you apply, you have to make a motivation letter, and this motivation letter has to include all of the experience that you've had in IFSA. So let's say that if it's going to affect something, it's probably going to be that, but it's not a requirement that you have to be part of every single activity that happens. That's not part of it. So you can still work on your application totally fine. Yeah, I think that will be one part. The other part is that I would advise you that, for example, if you are interested in applying, you focus a lot on your introduction during the regional meeting, because that's when you get to that's when you get to introduce yourself, and that's when you get to show your image to people, because in the end, people are going to choose you. So yeah, I would say that don't worry if you haven't been participating in a lot of activities. I would say that you can focus on, when you're going to be answering questions during the regional meeting. So yeah, I don't know if the rest want to add up on that.
I think only what I totally agree with Steve. Of course, it gives you some kind of like advantages if you have had a lot of experience, but it's not the main important point. And also, for example, for me, I applied for becoming an RR when I basically just joined IFSA, so I didn't really have the opportunity to participate in a lot of events and meetings before that, because it was also COVID time, so not a lot of things were happening. It was all online, and it doesn't affect your application too much. Yeah, of course, it's always good to try to join the meetings that are happening in your region, so you also get an idea how it works, how it looks like. But it's definitely not a requirement to join all of them, since, yeah, as you said, there are a lot of those meetings.
Yeah, I also totally agree. Just I can say, if you have time and availability, you can join for catch some stuff. But yeah, as Steve and Joanna said, not affected.
Yeah, I agree also with Steve, Joanna, and Bora. I think it doesn't have any bearing if you didn't participate in the previous IFSA activities. It's better to focus more on how you introduce yourself during the regional meeting, and just point out all of your strengths and what you can do for IFSA once you become an RR, because attending IFS activities prior to your application doesn't have any bearing when you become an RR, but it does give you experience. But then again, it won't affect your application.
Okay, thank you everyone for that. Bore?
Yes, I want to ask you something related to the last question. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. If I become an RR, is it mandatory to participate in international events like IFSS, or it is not? I want to know this because, yeah, considering that for example, this year IFSS is in Chile, and I'm from Italy. It can be very high. It can have a very high cost, so it's a little problematic. I want to know if it's mandatory or not, and or if it is highly recommended to participate. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, highly recommended is going to be participating in every activity that you can, but of course, it's not mandatory. I mean, it doesn't matter where. Well, let me say it this way: if the event has a chance or has any session that you can join online, then I would advise you to do so that at least you can get involved in a little bit of it. But it's not mandatory. Not IFSS, not CERM, not interim. It's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended that you join. Like, for example, I joined interim online and was a really good experience, but it wasn't mandatory. Like, I wasn't forced to do it. So yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something on what Steve said, that it's not mandatory that you should be in every physical delegations that IFSA is conducting. Since it's highly recommended but not mandatory. And also, since we've been implementing hybrid events, so if you can't join physically, you can join online. And also, I think that is kind of mandatory that you should be present is if you become an RR, you should be in the regional meeting. I think that's the most like semi-mandatory thing of being an RR that you should attend to. Please correct me if I'm wrong, other RRs.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone want to add something here, or we can move to the other question? Okay, Kyle.
I have one final question. I would just like to know which region has the best regional representative.
Excuse me.
I can answer that. We have to Steve.
No, it's a
This-
joke, guys.
This guy
All
is
of you are
trying.
amazing.
This guy
No.
is trying to cause controversy over here.
Yes, Steve, guys, don't believe the Kyle trying to fight each other, make us fight each other. We are all best and perfect. Kyle, did you get your question? Next one, please.
Yes, thank you for that, Bora.
Okay, we have another question in the Mendy.
Okay, before that, I can say really I got Johanna's and Steve's advice some of point. That's true. Yeah, also last time is Sophia and Ali. I was counting all of them actually. Just, yeah, I wanted to say this.
Yeah, our support are ours. Thank you, Bora. Okay, the second question in our Menti is it required for 2 RRs of the same region be from different countries?
Uh, yeah, Johanna, go ahead and
Um,
answer this.
I don't, I mean, I think I never saw it as a requirement that you have to be from different countries. Of course, it's an advantage if you're not from the same country, because then it's easier to reach out to other LCs maybe. But yeah, I mean, if there are 2 people from the same country applying and then they get elected, I don't think that one of them will not be able to come out because they're from the same country. I don't know, correct me if I'm saying something wrong. I have also no idea.
I mean, as a requirement, no. Like there are, like the only requirement is that you have to be an LC member. Like that's the only mandatory thing that you need to have. But apart from it, I mean, with the amount of LCs and countries that we have in IFSA, of course, the idea would be that they are from different ones. But in the end, again, people are the ones who choose. So if people choose from the same country, then that's it. I mean, people have spoken, and that's the final decision. I mean, I could tell you like the example of Latin America a few years ago where we didn't have that many active LCs. So there was a term where both RRs were from the same country. But now that we have grown for the past 3 terms in a row, we've had people from different countries. And the idea would be that it stays the same way, but you know, it depends on people.
Okay, thank you, Johanna and Steve, for answering this. And you, for the people in the audience, you have any other question? Or we can move. Thank you, everyone, for your question and to the RRs to answer this. And we have a question now for the audience. Did you find this event useful? Okay, yes, things are now more clear. Could be better, or I'm not sure. Okay, that's really nice to see it's the first one. Okay. And we want to know your feedback. If you have any suggestions for the upcoming episodes or for ours too, we want to hear you. So more memes. Yes, membership department. Work on it. Okay, so we you can send your feedback after. It's perfect. Yes, it's because it's with the RRs. As what I said before, RRs are perfect. Event is amazing. It was great. More fun activities. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your feedback on this. And before we conclude, we have to our dear VP for the closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jess, and for our regional representatives for this episode. I really hope that it was useful and you got answers for some of your questions. And before we conclude, the next episode is with the Communication Commission on 26th of May at the same time. We will be also announcing it soon on our communication channels, so be sure to follow up on that. And one other thing is that if you would like to learn more about IFSA official positions, you can visit this link, and there are also the sessions recordings from the previous episodes. So yeah, thank you so much. Now I will start the recording, and we can have a group picture if everyone can open